Fins up, only fans, but with a PH. You heard? Yo. White, orange, and teal. The fins look real, you know what's the deal. There's blood, sweat, and tears. All up in his huddle with water to cook up a meal. My coaching in two with the combo was chill. Play action to chase, got hunger to feel. The cheetah is loose, he's going for blood. The end of the red only went for the kill. Miami, the city, the county, the block. We steady unpacked, tail getting the lot. Defense is strong and hard as a rock. Holland's a lock, and X wants a spot. Getting too hot, so turn up the fan. You look to the crowd, see Jimmy and Bam. Martin, Joe, and Sosa the mans. Your fellas, roll the clip, only fans.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy So, and welcome back to the channel for another week of OnlyFans, a Dolphins post-game show with reaction, analysis, and a whole lot of heart. Now, before we get this party started, we ask that you hit the like button on this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the post notifications to catch our next video. With me today for the post-game recap, you know him, you love him, co-host of the Sports with So podcast, Joel, a.k.a. the Delusional Dolphin. How's it going, my brother? Talk to me about how you're feeling about this game.
Oh, man. I got to see our Dolphins, our beloved Dolphins, win on the road in New England to improve to 2-0 in the season and take sole position of the AFC East. I mean, how do you think I'm feeling?
I know my boy's feeling awesome, man. Now, I got to find out how else my other dog is feeling. He's our favorite skeptic. Undoubtedly, Skylar Thompson's #1 fan. I'm talking about my boy Martin. Martin, what's going on? Tell me how you're feeling about this game.
Who would have thought after all these games that we were just a team that could only win at home to go 2-0 on the road versus the Patriots and in Foxborough? Sunday Night Football, I didn't expect it. I thought it was going to be a different game. I'll say that.
It was definitely a big win, a huge road win at that to get the season started. And of course, we got to bring in my main Max, bringing in the noise, future Dolphin super fan, friend of the show, Rax. What up, my boy? Talk to me about how you're feeling about this game.
So what's going on, man? Happy to be here once again, baby. Listen, I knew it was going to happen. I knew we were going to light it up. I knew we were going to shock the world. And I'm just so happy. I'm just so happy, dog. I'm just so happy.
It happened. It happened.
I'm just so happy that it actually happened.
I hear you, dog. We're all ecstatic about this game, and it was a big victory, a hard-fought victory. The Dolphins get the win 27-24 up in Foxborough. Not an easy place to play if you're the Dolphins, right? We know that historically, that's always been a place where we got to face a tough defense, a tough-minded coach, and a team that's always going to be prepared to take away your best attributes, your best offensive power, your best defensive power. And we saw that. The beginning of the game was pretty rough. With the Patriots receiving the ball first, I thought that it was going to be an excellent way for the Dolphins to go out there and kind of put their stamp on the game and make a defensive effort and show them, like, you can have the ball first, we're still going to stop you. And that's exactly what happened. We forced them to punt the ball to us. And once we got the ball, what we saw that night against the Patriots was excellent play calling from point one. We saw a healthy mix of Mostert. We saw a healthy mix of short yardage throw turning into yards down the field. I want to get your thoughts, Joel, on how you thought the play calling was, because you were there live, so you got to see this motion in person. I'm kind of curious to what you got to see out there.
It's all a blur, really. There was, a lot of alcohol involved, but I love the play calling. I thought we did an excellent job matching up against, this defensive-minded team. Bill Belichick's a defensive-minded coach, and the question was, can the Dolphins keep it up 2 weeks in a row? Can they keep that high-powered offense rolling? And I think we did. But the thing you had mentioned was, the Dolphins, had got the ball in the second half. That was by choice. They won the coin toss and decided to defer. And I think that, that was them saying, we want to come out here and we want to show these guys that, our defense is, one of the best defenses in the league, and we can stop anybody. And, we're going to put it on the defense first to show, set the tone of the game. And that was exactly what we got, and you add, you combine that with the offensive play calling and the efficiency that was our offense last night. I mean, it doesn't get better than that.
No, I definitely hear you on that one. Rax, I'm interested to hear what your thoughts were on the early play calling in the game.
Man, listen, they came out aggressive. They came out real strong, and I'm watching it, and I start seeing that motion, and it's something we've never really seen before. So you see it develop, you see Tua have his options, he's getting the ball out quickly, and it was a great thing to watch, man. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I kept seeing how smart Coach McDaniel is, how his brain just works differently when it comes to this football stuff, and it's exciting, man. What can I say? I'm excited about
For
it.
sure. Martin, even though the first drive didn't end in the way that you would want it to, right? We didn't get a touchdown, even though we drove a good amount of the field. We ended up walking away with the 3 points and seeing Jason Sanders get another field goal. What were your thoughts on how that first drive ended for the Dolphins as they took the lead 3-0?
I think it was just a feeler drive. Again, we gave them the ball first. You never know what you're going to get from the Patriots the first quarter or the game. So with that atmosphere, I feel like it was one of those drives that we try to do a little bit of everything, see what worked. We ended up with a field goal, and you're okay with it. It's the first drive. The first quarter ended 3-0, so it wasn't like anybody else was blowing anyone else out the water. But what I do like to see that we got the running game going as the game went on, and you got to see a lot more of what you didn't see at all last week. You got to see Tua, have a more balanced ball game. So I like the calls I saw from McDaniel this week, and I was a little happier, and I was expecting it to change and evolve as the year goes on for sure.
No, for sure.
First play of the game was a run.
Yeah, it was, right? And it was a big run at that, Joel, right? Because it kind of showed that we were in it to give Mostert his opportunities. And he got a good dosage of those opportunities. Like I mentioned. Again, we walk away with the field goal on the first drive. And like Martin said, we're not too mad about it, right? Could have been a lot worse. But then we give the defense another chance to step up and kind of continue to put their imprint in the game. But before I move on to the defensive play that we're about to show, I do want to mention something. We saw yet again another issue with the snap between Connor Williams and Tua, and that would later come on to show itself in the game. Rex, I see you laughing. What'd you think when you saw that shit happen in the first fucking drive?
Oh, my brother, I was so mad. Once again, I was just like, brah. I don't know what we got to do to get this snap right. I don't know what we have to do to get this snap right, bro. It's every game. It's constant. It throws the whole rhythm off of everything that we got going on, and it's become a nuisance, bro. It's every single game. So you know me, I was off my chair already by that point. Cut him the fuck off the team.
Joel, what are your thoughts on that, Doug?
I mean, imagine, we're sitting there around all these Pats fans. They're looking at you, through a microscope lens. Every little mistake the Dolphins make, you got hundreds of eyes just staring down at you. You know what I mean? So it wasn't a good feeling, but they were able to bounce back just like they did last week, and that's the the mainstay. But we got to cut that shit out. You got to start asking yourself if this continues. One more game that happens on the opening drive. It's like, what's the issue here? Is it nerves? Is it a miscommunication? Like, what is it? And how do we improve? Because we can't have that moving down the stretch.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But the defense, like I said earlier, they came to play, and we got this next clip courtesy of the Miami Dolphins and ESPN. What we see here, the Dolphin Nick Chubb make an excellent come from behind play where he's able to just punch that ball out and really, stick with it, allow his team to make it. Even though the Patriots were the first one to get to it, the Dolphins dogpiled it and got that turnover. Now, in my eyes, that was a critical turnover because not only did it put us in good field position, I felt like it gave Tua a second opportunity to go out there and do his thing. Martin, what'd you see in that next drive that kind of helped us get that touchdown?
Well, before we get to the drive, I want to get to Chubb finally because he's one of those players that I love what he brings to the table, but he hasn't really shown up since last year. He'll have like one or two games. But yeah, good to see a sack, forced fumble, and then the drive. You got to see a little bit more than what you saw last week. A little more from Tua, and it was crisp. I didn't really see anything off. So I was happy to see there's the consistency just continue.
Yeah, for sure. Joel, what are your thoughts on that play by Nick Chubb? Because you and I were kind of waiting to see him pop off, and so Bradley. Yeah, I'm saying we were waiting to see him pop off, and so far in these first two games for the Dolphins, he's been killing it.
Yeah, Nah, that was huge. That for especially you talk about momentum. You know, the Patriots were making plays. You know, they were running the ball. You know, somewhat decent with Stevenson. You know, gaining yardage, positive yardage. You know, the crowd was into it. It was a packed house. So you know that always is going to have some sort of effect. And when that play happened, it took everything out of the stadium. I mean, that thing was dead silent after that play because they didn't know what happened. Like it was a good play. The receiver was cutting it back up the field, running across. You know, these guys thought they were gonna have a nice first down in their hands, and then all of a sudden, Dolphins come up with the ball. So it was a huge turning point for us, you know, and a momentum swing as well.
For sure. And one last thing before we get to Rax's idea here. Um, for me, it was how he did it, right? He didn't give up on the play, which is the kind of effort that we need to see from a guy like Chubb.
No, absolutely, and so I'm saying, like, you see it on this season. It's like everything you need the team to do, they're doing it. You know, you need that defensive turnover. Here it is, boom. Tua, you need the second chance. Go down the field and score. He does it. So it's like the things you're supposed to be doing are happening, and that's not something that I'm used to. I'm used to things going the other way. I'm used to things not planning out, and you know, the Miami Dolphins usually fucking this up, but they're not, bro. They're in control. They've got a plan. They stick to it defensively, offensively, and it's a pleasure to watch.
Absolutely, absolutely. And look, we did make the most of the opportunity, right? We saw them connect quickly down the field. It was going to be a long drive. We saw Waddle have a huge screenplay. Kind of got into it with Jelani Tavai after the play, but that just shows you how tough Waddle is, right? He's never going to be one to shy away from contact, shy away from physicality. But the run commitment continued, and we saw Mostert get his first touchdown of the game. I'm sorry, that's the wrong highlight. Here we go. We got Mostert running here to his left and pretty much untouched as he gets into the end zone. But more importantly, there, like, look at the blocking. You know, the blocking seemed like everybody had their man scheduled. They knew exactly who they were going to go and block, and it was perfect execution to put the Phans up 10-0. Martin, this had to be music to your eyes, right? Because we're talking about seeing crisp running plays inside and outside, and that one was an example.
And I think what's led to it, although obviously the scheme had changed this week from last week, the blocking has just been like,
yeah.
What can you say bad about that blocking? Like, it is beautiful to see that Mostert has the gaps he has, and then that guy is one of those. He takes advantage of any opening he gets, and if you touch him by any chance, that guy's gonna put you down. Like he gets his yards, and you got to see it the rest of the way. If we see that, we're gonna see it completely. Everybody loves the flashy throwing, but if we run the ball, we're gonna be one of those teams. I guarantee it. If I see running it.
No, for sure. Rax, talk to me, man. Talk to me. I know you're a big Mostert fan.
They said, look, they played the safeties in Casa La Pinga, bro. They had them. They were so disrespectful with the safeties, how deep they had them that they were like, oh, you want us to run the fucking ball? Here you go, bro. Pop, pop, pop. And it's like, oh, let's move our safeties up now. Let's put 5 on the box now because they're running the fucking ball. And then they had the nerves to say that they actually stopped it, that they stopped the run, that was just a lucky play, his breakout play. And I was like, shut up, bro.
Joel, talk to me about how the crowd was deflated, but more importantly, how high was your confidence level after that Mostert touchdown run?
I mean, the high fives were elite, you know, in that moment. You know, we were reaching over rows to the other Aqua and Orange fans wherever we could find them. You know, really getting like in the way of like Patriots fans and shit. You know, sorry, excuse me. You know, I mean, it was at an all-time high, dog. It was beautiful to see that. You got to shout out that O-line. That O-line, 2 straight weeks playing without their star player on that line, Teron Armstead. And they're protecting Tua, and they're opening up holes for our running backs to run the ball. You know, not only did we see Mostert, you know, on that touchdown, you know, pretty much untouched. We saw the rook, Devon Achane. You know, he had a couple good runs as well. We saw Ahmed have a couple good runs as well. You know, that tells you something. You know what I mean? That tells you that the O-line is doing their job this year. And for the most part, we're healthy. You know, we're missing our main guy, and they're playing this way. So I can't imagine, how much better we can get now when Teron Armstead finally comes back.
For sure, but I think the biggest thing to highlight here in this first half is the defense, right? We saw a forced fumble,
Oh,
we saw a bunch of forced punts, we saw another, you know, another pure job from the defense, bending but not breaking, never allowing the Patriots to really threaten them with a touchdown or anything like that. We saw Van Ginkel
My
have
po-
a hell of a game, right? Van Ginkel was everywhere on the field. Seidler is really earning those paychecks because this dude is always in the backfield. He may not be getting the tackle, but he's pushing those two guys. And on one of those blitz packages, he was the one who got the double team that allowed Brandon Jones to come down from the not Brandon Jones, Holland to come down and get a sack. Like there were a lot of great plays made by the defense, and then again the offense just took advantage. We saw them right before the half get another touchdown. Tua connected with all his receivers to get downfield. We saw a nice catch and run by Ahmed, right, who was slowly getting more involved into the offense, and then Tua connects with Tyreek Hill for a touchdown. And this is the Howard interception. Sorry, why the hell is he
that was in
fucking
the
here?
first half. Was that
No,
was that
this
Howard
is it.
interception first or second
My
half?
bad. My bad. This is it. Courtesy of ESPN and the Dolphins. Check out this
Listen, we got a
celebration.
lot
Though.
going on today.
No. We do. But this is my favorite part. Here we go. Boom. But now
That's
I
that
want
stomp the
you
yard,
guys.
baby.
Yes, damn. Rex knew
That's
the
that
movie
stomp the
before I
yard.
could even ask.
Come
Killed
on
it.
now.
That touchdown put the Dolphins up 17-3 right before the half. I thought that we dominated that first half, both offensively and defensively. And even, we forced them to take a knee right after we scored that touchdown, just put ourselves in a real good position to win the game. Going into halftime, the one thing that stood out to me the most, right, was how effective we were at getting first downs in the first quarter versus how we did them in the second quarter. First quarter, we had 7 first downs. Second quarter, that number went down to 4. It was a little bit concerning because we saw the amount of throws Tua was making go higher and higher. And even one of them was a bad pick that he had later on in the game. How were you guys feeling at halftime? Joel, we'll start with you. You were there live. Talk to me.
17-3. I mean, on the road in New England, you're feeling good, bro. Like that you need to be at least like tied. You can't be down, like, because now
Right.
the shit talking doesn't end. But yeah, we were feeling good. Everybody was, all those Patriots fans that were talking shit at the beginning of the game were now like, all right, how do we not let this game get out of hand? And I was wondering, all right, how do the Dolphins really, really take this, bring this one home with a big, impressive win. And that second half was a little bit more of a grind than I wanted it to be.
For sure. Rax, what were your thoughts on the first half?
The first half was great. The second half was concerning. The second half was the one that had me a little bit on my feet because you start to think of the 30-year history that we have, and it's like, hey, we're gonna fuck this up. We're gonna fuck this up if we keep playing like this. And you kind of saw slow down a little bit, but at the same time, I was confident that the defense was playing really strong, and the offense was still in a little bit of a rhythm. They still had rhythm. They weren't really making bad plays, but you always had that thought in the back of your head of saying, "Are they gonna fuck this up? Like, are they?" And I'm happy that wasn't the case, though.
No, I don't think that we had that thought. We just know that every time we play the Patriots or an AFC East opponent, you know what I mean? It's going to be a tough game. A little bit of foreshadowing there by Rax with the second half. Martin, as we went into the second half, what was one thing that you felt confident that could continue in the second half to help us win the game?
It looked like we didn't really get their offense get into a rhythm, so I felt like that if anything we were going to lean on was that. I feel like it was one of those games that we didn't really feel the pressure on offense. Obviously, they had 3 points going into the fourth quarter, so that was one of those reasons. But ultimately, unlike the Chargers last week, we didn't see them get into a rhythm. We felt like we were managing the game, even though we were away. We needed to do the little things to get over the hump. Though I don't feel like it should have been 3-17. I think it should have been 24-17 in the third quarter. Like it should have been one of those games that we should have been way ahead of them. So it ended up being a very close one. That fourth quarter was. You guys were pretty excited about it. I was like, bro, what are you guys excited about? It's 17-3. Like it's not even a big deal. It ended up being 17-10 for 9 minutes. So It was too close for me. Too close for
I think
comfort.
the biggest thing to walk away from with the second half is how we started the second half. Right, we got off to a bad start. We get sacked on 39 for the first 3 and out of the game, and then we saw another 2 more 3 and outs in the rest of the second half. The defense came back. They continued to play well. They were putting that pressure on Mac Jones the entire evening, and kind of even limiting the running game for the Patriots, because Stevenson and Ezekiel Elliott, those guys can pound the rock, you know what I mean? And they may not be breakout guys, but those are guys who can constantly get 3, 4 yards, and that stuff can really wear down on you. I wanted to bring up a specific topic that's kind of sore right now, right? We saw Tua connect with Hill for another first down. Tua dropped a dime to Waddle for 32 yards, and then on a third down, Tua had a pass tip. We set up for the field goal, and there was a complete breakdown. You know, now that we got to see it, like in the after the game and the replay, we saw that Christian Wilkins didn't really necessarily pay attention to the guy who was coming in from the right side to block the kick. A lot of people were questioning whether we should have punted it or whether we should have gone for the field goal attempt, with the way that Jason Sanders has struggled from 50 yards or more. I want to hear you guys' thoughts on that particular instance. Should we have gone for the field goal or should we have punted the ball? Rax, we'll start with you.
Bro, I think it was the right call. I think we should have thrown the field goal, but I didn't think we were gonna get fucking blocked. And then you see that guy off the corner of your eye creep in there, and he blocks that kick, and you're like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And Sanders, when you need him, he's not there. It's when you don't need him that he doesn't fucking miss. When we're down by 20, he won't miss a field goal. Boom, 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 boom. But it's like the moment that you need him to make the kick, it's like, all right, you missed it. Thanks, bro.
But I don't know if it was fully on him. Martin,
Yeah.
let's start with you. You're definitely one of those guys that has backed Jason Sanders. Talk to me about what you thought there.
Yeah. No, I'll back him on here too, because that's not him. That's an offensive line breakdown. Whoever's blocking or not blocking for that matter. You can't put that on the kicker for a kick to get blocked. But I at that time, I mean, I thought they should have punted it. Honestly, I thought our defense was playing well enough where it was like pin them in deep in their own end zone and make them do something with it. If not, force them to punt it and give us better field position potentially. So that was something that I didn't like initially. Just how far it was, and then on top of that, they blocked the kick. So it's like, damn, here we talk about a momentum swing once again. That was in their favor there. So not a great moment in that game for us.
I think I'm confused with the two kicks.
Martin,
for me, I think
about the block kick?
I think the field goal was the good decision. The only thing there was a better scheme by the Patriots. Like, that was something we haven't seen.
Fair.
Sanders has been struggling from 50. You got to get him his shots now early in the season, because come down later in the season, you don't want him missing those field goals. You want him already getting his practice kicks in. And the Patriots just threw something at him that none of us saw coming. So you can't really knock him too much on that. I don't think so. The second one, again, that's wow.
That's a different story. But I feel like we have to give him that pass on that 55.
No, not a pass. I'm just saying that I feel like that was the right decision to go for the field.
Okay, maybe that's the right decision to go for it. But in my case, you kind of give him the pass because the right decision, right? Obviously, hindsight being the better decision maker, but in hindsight, you go for the punt for the reason that Joel said. We're pinning them. Offense that's struggling to get anything really completed against us. Yeah, they had 2 drives where they drove a length of the field, but they only had walked away with 3 points, and they really hadn't damaged us up until that point. And even when they did try to throw downfield with us, we saw Javon Holland step by step covering downfield and making a good defensive play. We saw Xavier Howard staying with his receiver, Cato Crow, who played a really good game, even though his name's not going to come up in the stat book that much. But defensively, we were sound. And even when they got into the danger zone, we saw plays like this by Xavier Howard yet again. Out-bullying, out-muscling former Dolphins wide receiver Devontae Parker and coming up with the interception in the end zone. Again, all these highlights are brought to you by ESPN and the Miami Dolphins. For me, those are the type of plays that we expected from the defense. And we always wondered, if the defense made those plays, can we win those games? And I feel like that Sunday game definitely showed that. Now, once we got that pick, The offense was still struggling. However, we were able to get down the field and get another touchdown. Raheem Mostert had the 40-yard touchdown run right here to kind of seal the game. 43-yard run right here, untouched all the way to the house. And
Running
that was
halfway
the
speed too.
running halfway speed. But more importantly, it was the breakdown eventually of the defense, right? Of being ran on so much. This was the first time that we've seen Mostert have 19 carries since like probably week 3 of the season. He ended up with 121 yards, 2 touchdowns. A really great game. Just a commitment to say, all right, if the Patriots are going to play us deep, we got to make the rest of it. I think that last year we would have lost this type of game, right? And it would have been a lot closer. What do you guys think?
That's what I'm
Because,
saying.
like, for me, I wanted to see offensive fluidity, but it came through offensively clutch. And the defense was just great all game. I don't know what you guys thought, but I'm interested to see. Joel, what do you think about the defense there in the fourth quarter?
And I thought it was great. I thought, it did the job they needed to do once again. And dude, back-to-back weeks, bro. You talking about on the road? Let's put more emphasis on that. We're at Chargers week 1, and then in Foxborough week 2, and they're coming up with big play after big play, and they did it without Jalen Phillips, who was great last week. He was part of the game-winning sack. And we didn't have him this week, so we needed other guys to step up, like Chubb, like Wilkins, like Sealer, and they did, man. And to see Xavier Howard, have that interception. Last year I thought he had a little bit of a regression. I wanted more. I expect more of him. He's one of our best, if not our best defensive player, when he's playing at his best. And to see him get that pick on the road, and, tip my cap to the dude.
It was definitely a playoff type atmosphere and a playoff type move. Wouldn't you say, Rex?
Oh, absolutely, man. They were, he was. It was weird to see for me because it was weird to see my defense go up against Mike Gesicki and Devontae Parker. I mean, those guys were they're Dolphins at heart, man. They gave everything to the team that they could. So that was weird to see, but it was also, it's my defense, bro. I was happy that X got one. To add to Joel, what Joel said, last season was kind of like what happened, my boy? And now we see him come out game week 2, get one, and he's back up there on the pick board. So love to see it.
Now, Martin, last week when we talked about it, we kind of knew that the defense wasn't going to show its hand. I feel like this week showed a lot more, right? We saw a lot more different blitzes, different type of blitzes and coverage. Slowly, that book is opening, and we saw its effect. Wouldn't you say? I feel like it's almost like we bring in a closer.
Yeah, I agree. I will say we saw a little more, but I think that was still very simple compared to what we're going to see down the line. I think we got what we wanted. We kept Mac Jones uncomfortable. I think he had 80 yards going into halftime or something like that. It was really low. The offense didn't really get going. Stevenson, 50 yards I think he ended the game with. Holland was all over the place. Van Ginkel made some really key plays.
Great
Chubb
plays.
with a really, really good forced fumble, the sack. I think you saw it all around. Like, I don't think we had anything on our defense where you're going to be like, oh, we should have played better there. Xavier with a pick, like, again, and I don't think we're anywhere near what we're going to see when we see a team that we need to put those schemes in. I think we're going to see a lot more very soon.
No, that's very fair, right? Go ahead, Joel.
No, I was gonna say, now that Martin mentioned, some Mac Jones stats, let me ask you guys a serious question. What do you guys think about Mac Jones, bro? The amount of Mac Jones jerseys I saw at this Patriots game, I get it. They don't have a whole lot to choose from. But, bro, the amount of Mac Jones jerseys that I saw at this game, and every time that guy threw a horrible pass, bro, I just laugh out loud, bro, because that guy is terrible. And I don't know what you guys think.
But this is the guy that they were saying was a million times better than Tua in their rookie season. This is the guy that
Devontae Smith said that.
This is the guy that Tua has basically been getting compared to this whole time, and this guy has yet to do anything to prove that. So I don't understand where all this praise comes from. Listen, he's a great kid. Fine. You look at him and he still looks like he hasn't grown the fuck up, bro. Like he facially does not look like he's grown up yet.
I think the problem with Mac Jones is that he doesn't have anything that wows you, right? He doesn't have a big frame, super fast abilities, super cannon of an arm. He doesn't have anything that wows you, but he's a guy, dog, that can probably control the locker room. He's gonna work hard. He's gonna know the playbook. Can adjust on the run. Can make gritty throws when you have to. I just don't think he's as good as they perceive him to be. That doesn't necessarily mean that he could be a whack quarterback. If that guy was the quarterback for the Jets right now, instead of Aaron Rodgers or Zach Wilson, right? Jets would be in a really good spot, right? Because Mac Jones would be able to come in and handle the offense and move the team down the field for sure. Martin, what do you think about Mac Jones?
I don't think we've seen the best out of Mac Jones just yet. Week one, if you didn't look at this week, you saw just last week. He threw 300 yards and 3 touchdowns versus the Eagles defense that had probably like, I think it was like 12 QB pressures, 9 he the stats were there. I just can't really recall right now, but he played really well in the game. They almost pulled it out. If it wasn't for the receiver, not getting his both feet in, we're looking at a one last shot at the end zone. They probably beat the Eagles that just came off a Super Bowl. Not the win, but they got the Super Bowl. This week, Sunday Night Football, you're now playing a rival. Games are different when you play a division rival. So it wasn't his best game. And, if you're going to go past off his last years, I haven't seen anything to stand out. But I don't think he has the weapons just yet. I think he needs at least one of those. And I thought Hopkins was going to be that one. And they failed there. So let's see. I think he needs at least one big weapon. And I think you'll see a little better than what you're seeing right now. And
I just think that Mac Jones isn't, like I said, he'll never be one of those guys that they consider the best from a class, right? But he can not lose you football games, and sometimes that's enough, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Patriots are a run-first team at the end of the day. They go ahead.
I know what jersey you're getting next, Martin.
It's possible. It's possible. Now, look, and Mac Jones made it interesting, right? He had the touchdown to Henry to make it 24-10, and then connected with Parker on a third down play right after a blitz. To keep their drive alive. Stevenson ended up scoring a touchdown there to make it 24-17, and then on the last play of the game, time's running left. The defense steps up. We see Chubb with a sack. Holland deflects a pass. Jones passed it to Gesicki, who kind of made a pass back to Strange, their lineman, who was pretty much tackled right before the one. Even though they gave him the first down, they reviewed it. They say he didn't make it. We got into victory formation, and that's how the game ended, 24-17. Again, I think the things that we got to walk away with the most from this is the impact that the defense had, right? 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, 1 interception, 4 sacks. A great performance for the defense, who's opening up their playbook week by week, like Martin alluded to earlier. And then also we saw, back-to-back commitments to the run game. These were rare occasions last year where we saw the team really take the running game approach and stick to it no matter what's happening in the game. And look, we're 2-0 for it, so I'm hoping it's something that it continues to happen down the field, down the rest of the season. I want to ask you guys, who would be your MVP for this game? Because even though Tua didn't have a great, stat line, he made big throws, including the interception. He made that throw, but bounced back after that. I want to know individually who your thought was for the most important player for this game. Martin, we'll start with you.
I'm going to go with Bradley Chubb. Chubb made one of those impact plays during the game, when they were about to drive. He stopped them. And then on the last drive, when they were driving to score and tie the game at the in the fourth quarter, he had a sack. It was one of those 2 pivotal moments in the game that really changed the outcome, in my opinion. I think Bradley Chubb, hands down.
Great nomination. He definitely earned that check. What about you, Joel?
I got to go with Raheem Mostert for this one, man. I mean, I don't have the stat line in front of me, but,
19 carries, 121 yards.
And 2 TDs?
2 TDs.
We can't leave that out there. I mean, that's big, man. To get one touchdown is everything, and to get 2, it's even more. So I got to give it to Raheem Mostert.
Nah, that's clean, man. I hear you on that one. What about you, Rex? Who would you say was the MVP for this game, or the most important player?
I co-sign on Raheem Mostert, but I want to just for shits and giggles, I want to throw out Van Ginkel out there. Guy was everywhere on the field. He was playing the edge since Phillips is out, and he was also, everywhere else. I think there was even a snap or two where I might have seen him in between the numbers. Guy was everywhere. He was balling. He was balling. And you affect the play on that side and leads to other things happening. And I just loved it, man. Love to see it.
Listen, I like that pick, man. And if I had to choose one from the three that you guys said, I would have to go with Van Ginkel because he stepped up in the last moment, right? We didn't know that Phillips wasn't playing until late Friday evening, early Saturday morning. So for him to step up to the plate and fill in his shoes, who's a guy who's a all pro candidate, Pro Bowl candidate type player, and come away with a very productive line like he did, 6 tackles, 5 solos. He was in the backfield a bunch. Like, you really got to be happy with the performance that he played in that game. Absolutely. Now, before we wrap up the show, there's one last thing that I have to get you guys' opinion on, and this is how we're going to break down OnlyFans Week 2. Make sure you guys are subscribed and liking this video and dropping a comment to let us know what you guys think, because I'm interested to know what you guys think about this excellent run from our head coach right into the half. And look at the speed as my boy takes off. He's at the 5. He's at the 3. He's into the end zone. This dude really fucking put the wheels on, dog. And I saw that and I was like, what is this man doing? Why is he running so fast?
He's letting y'all know, bro. He's letting y'all know, listen, this is not your regular schmegular coach right here. I got some feet on me, boy. Let's go. And he shows it in front of prime time, bro. Hey, it's a new era of coaches.
There's no way he had to use the bathroom, Martin, dog. There's no way you're telling me that my man had to use the bathroom.
I hope that was just a sign that he's all in on running. That's what I hope it was. That's all it was.
That's a great call, dog. I like that. Joel, you were there, dog. I'm sure the lines to go to the bathroom are long as hell in that fucking stadium, dog. You don't think that he was trying to get a head start?
I'm sure he has his own private bathroom that he doesn't have to make a line for, at least not the line that I had to make entering halftime. But what that shows me, man, is Mike McDaniels is having fun. Yes, and I think that's one of the most important things, you know what I mean, is you got to have fun. I just watched that the Florida Gators documentary on the right over here, the Swamp Kings. Mm-hmm. Yes. And even though I thought it was underwhelming and I thought the U is still where it's at, one of the main moments was like where Urban Meyer, had that, the recall to his mentor. It was like, let that motherfucker go, or something like that. Like just have fun, you know what I mean? Have fun with him. That's what he's doing. Every chance he gets, any interview, he's trolling. There, the camera guy's trying to keep up with him. It's like, oh, yeah, you're going to try to keep up? Let's go and see what you got. And he just takes off. So I'd love to see that energy from Mike McDaniels, man. The boy's having fun.
Hell yeah, man. When you're 2-0, you can have all the fun you want, just like we did right here on this episode of OnlyFans. Week 2 is a wrap. Now we're heading into week 3 where we're going to face the Denver Broncos in our season home opener. It's going to be a great game because we're going to romp those guys, man. Rax, Martin, Joel, I appreciate y'all boys for joining me yet again. You guys know what to do. Make sure you guys are following the team on social media. That's I am Rax, Tuna Martin, and Joel of Hialeah. Appreciate y'all boys for jumping on. And you guys know what to do next. You got to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about OnlyFans. It's coming every week this Dolphins season. And you already know what it is because we got great guys giving their great opinions as we recap every single game this season. Until next time, it's your boy So. Peace.